It's a 2-week sprint to AT&T Stadium in the regional finals of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. These are the picks. Welcome into the picks, your guide to the Texas High School Football Playoffs. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and it's getting late early, folks. It is December, and we are into the thick of playoff season. There are merely 88 UIL Texas high school football teams remaining. We will narrow that down to 24 over the next 2 weeks that will appear at AT&T Stadium in Arlington to play for it all. And we've already been on a wild ride through the first half of the Texas high school football playoffs with upsets, surprises, Cinderellas, first-time regional finalists. It is a smorgasbord of a variety of different teams. You've got the powers, right? The teams we expected to be here, but also you've got a number of teams that we had no idea we're going to make it this far. That's what makes this the most wonderful time of the year and the time to lock in to Texas high school football. There are massive games everywhere you look. We will predict every single one of them. We start in Houston. 6 o'clock Saturday night at NRG Stadium in Houston. It's a 5A Division II regional final between the Richmond Randle Lions and the Iowa Colony Pioneers. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number one, the next big thing. So Richmond Randle is a new program, right? They're in their third varsity season, and they've already made an impact in the Houston area, and they are kind of the rising power there in H-Town. But specifically, they've got one guy that you could probably identify as the next big thing coming out of the Houston area. I'm talking about running back Landon Williams-Callis. The super sophomore, recently named a Mr. Texas football finalist, has been absolutely electrifying this year. He's got 41 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging 11 yards per carry, and he is also a threat out of the backfield. Last week in their regional semifinal win over Brenham, his long touchdown catch was the real difference maker in that ball game. Landon Williams-Callis will be the most dynamic playmaker in this game. Can he show out on the big stage? Key number two, the Pioneers' playmaking defense. When you take a look at this Iowa Colony team, the first thing that jumps out at you is the defense, which comes up with massive splash plays every time you look up. 27 total turnovers on the year. They've had 87 tackles for loss, 25 sacks. They make plays, game-changing plays that turn the ball over or get their opponents behind the chains. Guys like Jeremy Gardner and Hayden Caston lead the way on what has been a remarkable Pioneers defense. Still in their infancy as a program as well, but making their presence felt in the Houston area. So in this clash in the Houston area, can the defense for the Pioneers be the difference maker? And key number three, you again. So these two teams are pretty familiar with one another. This is in fact one of 12 rematches in the Texas high school football playoffs this weekend. These are District 9 5A Division II rivals. They met back in week 5 in late September, and Randle came away with a 30-10 win. Landon Williams-Callis ran for 4 touchdowns, and the Iowa Colony offense was held to under 300 total yards of offense themselves. So a lot has changed since then, right? Teams have grown, players have been injured. These are different teams than they were back in September, but make no mistake, we have a data point. Randle was 20 points better than Iowa Colony about 2 months ago. How much have these teams changed, right? One thing I want to see is how much has Iowa Colony sophomore quarterback Carson White grown. I think he could be a real X factor in this ball game. So, with two teams that are very familiar with one another, how much has changed since they met in late September? Who am I picking? I'm going with Randle. The Lions get the nod here, even though it's hard to beat a good team twice because of the defense, which we haven't even talked about. This is the #1 scoring defense in all of 5A Division II, led by their monstrous defensive lineman, Chase Sims. They come up with big plays themselves. Iowa Colony is a better team than they were in September, the first time these two teams played. I think Carson White, the quarterback, has grown. I think they can get a big game from the running back, Aaron Tenner. That is a key in this one, and they've got to win the turnover battle. But I think that the Randle defense is too much, and I think Landon Williams-Callis is the X factor in this ball game. He and quarterback Tyler Skrbanek lead the way. I think Randle is heading for the state semifinals. Let's go to 6A, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon at Vernon Newsom Stadium in Mansfield is a 6A Division I regional final between the North Crowley Panthers and the Allen Eagles, and this is brand name football right here. And it's really interesting because you've got kind of the surging power in North Crowley going up against a resurgent power in Allen in a matchup of unbeatens. This is fantastic stuff here, and the money matchup, all eyes are going to be on this North Crowley offense with quarterback Chris Jimerson and wide receiver Quentin Gibson, recently named a Mr. Texas Football finalist, going up against this outstanding Allen defense led by Mitchell New. That is the money matchup here. That is box office. That's what you want to see. A lot of this also comes down to the other side, and specifically for Allen, this feels like the final exam for quarterback Brady Bricker. He has grown so much as the season has gone on, and I think he is a real threat to take over this ball game. But I look at North Crowley and the weaponry they've got, the playmakers they've got, and the strong defensive line, which I think can match up with Allen's very good offensive line. And I think that is the difference. I think this game is close and worthy of prime time, but I think that North Crowley moves on to the state semifinals. Let's go to 4A, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Harlandale Memorial Stadium in San Antonio. It is a 4A Division II regional final between the Wimberley Texans and the Sinton Pirates, and it is Judgment Day in Region 4. So, Wimberley is the team of record in Region 4. They have won each of the last 2 regional titles. They've won 4 of the last 5 regional titles. They've won 5 of the last 7 regional titles. They are the team to beat in Region 4, hard stop, not an opinion, okay? What Doug Warren has done there is absolutely remarkable. And quarterback Cody Stover, a moment on him. Cody Stover took over this Wimberley team a couple of years ago, and I think that people thought that they were gonna kind of lie down and go away, right? Because they were making a change at quarterback and we didn't know what this guy had. All he's done is put together, I think, an iconic Texas high school football career. Unbelievable what he's done, and we do not appreciate what Cody Stover has done in his high school football career. To keep it going, they will have to get past Sinton, undefeated and long earmarked as the team to dethrone Wimberley in Region 4. Quarterback Tristan Hansen has been fantastic, and their defense, led by Aiden Galvan, is absolutely relentless. Coach Mike Troutman has got those boys humming right now. This is a fascinating ball game. And it's hard to pick against a dominant power in region play like Wimberley, but I think Sinton's got what it takes. I think Tristan Hansen leads them to the semifinals. I think Sinton beats Wimberley. To 3A we go, 6 o'clock Friday night at Patriot Stadium in Lubbock. It is a 3A Division II regional final between the Canadian Wildcats and the Wall Hawks. And much like we were talking about with Wimberley and Sinton, this is kind of that same dynamic with a long-standing regional power going up against their biggest challenge they've had in the region in quite some time. Canadian has won Region 1 in 9 of the last 10 seasons. 9 of the last 10 seasons Canadian has played in the state semifinal. Absolutely outrageous the dominance they've had in Region 1. And after a wobbly start to the season, they have really started to figure it out, especially with the running game. Sladen Dickinson, their running back, has been terrific, and their defense looks like it's rounding into form, thanks in large part to the absolutely remarkable Wyatt Davis. Go read his story. He's unbelievable. This is a huge test to them this week against Wall, who has looked every bit the part of a state championship contender. The flex bone is out, and the offensive firepower is in for the Hawks. They've got a 3,000-yard passer in Landon York. He has been terrific back there. Plus, Thomas Leonis has been really strong at the running back spot as well, a 1,000-yard rusher himself. They have great balance to their offense. Their defense has been solid as well. I think Wall's going to do it. I don't know what it is. I think the offensive firepower, I think the way their defense is playing right now, they're flying the football. I think they've got what it takes to dethrone Canadian in Region 1. I think Wall moves on to the state semifinal. To 2A we go, 7 o'clock Friday night at Tiger Stadium in Belton. It is a 2A Division I regional final between the Hamilton Bulldogs and the Axtell Longhorns. The most mysterious region in Texas high school football comes to a head this week as Region 2 will be decided between a team we thought would be here and a team nobody thought would be here. So Axtell's the team that was predicted to be playing in a regional final. They were our pick in the magazine to win Region 2, and they've largely lived up to the hype. Coach Craig Horn has done a terrific job. They've got a rock-solid defense and a balanced attack. Colton Horn, their running back, has been very good. Levi Leathers, their sophomore quarterback, feels like he's taken the next step. This team has played to their paper. Plain and simple, we expected them to be in a regional final, and here they are. Hamilton. Hamilton is 13-0? Hamilton. They're in the midst of their best season in program history by a mile, okay? They haven't had a 10-win season in 20 years, to put it in perspective. But they have found the juice, and they are rolling right now. Isaac Wood, their running back, has been terrific. Jackson Edwards, their quarterback, has stepped up in a big way, and their defense is peaking at the right time. Hamilton, neither one of these teams have ever been this far in the playoffs. This is the first fourth-round appearance for either one of these teams. One of them is going to make history, making it to the state semifinals, and I think it's Hamilton. I think the Bulldogs got a little team of destiny in them, and I think their defense is the difference. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Hamilton Bulldogs are going to play in the state semifinal. And we will punch our first 4 tickets to AT&T Stadium this week in the 1A state semifinals. 6 o'clock Saturday night at the Wild and Godly. It is a 1A Division I state semifinal between the Gordon Longhorns and the Abbott Panthers. It is the game of the year in 6-man football. These two teams have been number 1 and number 2 all year long, and they have been dominant, okay? These two teams are combined 13-0. Of those 26 games, they've won 25 of them by the 45-point mercy rule. The only game that wasn't decided by a 45-point mercy rule was when Abbott beat Oglesby in week 1. And Oglesby is a state semifinalist in 1A Division II. Okay, these two teams are the teams that we have wanted to see square up all season long in 1A Division I, and I can't wait to see it. The star power here from a 6-man perspective is outrageous, okay? For Gordon, you've got Rye Reed and Stryker Reed. They have been absolutely terrific all year long, and their defense has been locking people down. On the other side, for this Abbott ball club, under first-year head coach Kyle Crawford, they are rolling with Riley Sestala, Mason Hell, Paxton Pajovsky. They have got dudes all over the place. This team is rolling right now. This is about as close a game as I can remember in 6-man football. This is hard to split these two teams, okay? They've both been absolutely dominant. And I'm actually a little inclined not to make a pick, but it's called the picks, so it's kind of hard to avoid it. I'm going with Gordon. The reason is championships advantage. They are the reigning 1A Division I state champs, and in the end, that should matter. I think that big game experience will play into a factor. I also think their defense gives them a little bit of an edge. This game is close. It is the game of the year in 6-man football, but I'm going with Gordon. But those are far from the only big games in the regional finals of the Texas high school football playoffs. Let's get to the lightning round. In 6A Division I, I like Duncanville to take down Bridgeland. In a rematch we've been waiting for, I think North Shore continues their mastery of Atascocita, and it's another Battle of the Lakes. I like Westlake to get by Lake Travis. To 6A Division II we go. South Lake Carroll's pretty wounded, but I think they find a way past Denton Geyer, and DeSoto keeps on rolling. I think they get a win over Longview. In an all-Humble ISD regional final, I like Summer Creek over Kingwood in a rematch. And down in Region 4, I'm going with Austin Vandergrift over San Antonio Harlan. To 5A Division I we go. LaPorte versus Angleton is another rematch, and I'm fairly certain I've picked against both teams every week in the playoffs. They've made me look really silly. I like LaPorte in a very close one. And in the DFW Metroplex, I like Highland Park over Frisco Lone Star. I think Smithson Valley takes down Corpus Christi Flower Bluff, and in another rematch, I think Aledo wins a close one over Denton Ryan. To 5A Division II we go. I like Argyle over Lovejoy. Corpus Christi Miller keeps flying with a win over Bernie, and it's a rematch of the last 2 state championship games. I like Port Neches Groves over South Oak Cliff. To 4A Division I we go. I like Stephenville over Canyon West Plains, but keep an eye on that one. And you want to talk about firepower, I like Salina in a wild one over Alvarado. Bay City keeps on rolling. They get a win over Lavernia, and it's an East Texas rivalry renewed. I like Kilgore over Chapel Hill. To 4A Division II we go. Graham takes down Brock for a second time this season. Carthage keeps on rolling with a win over Van, and Waco La Vega beats Sealy. To 3A Division I we go. I'm going with the defending state champs Malakoff to get by Liberty Ilo. And how about Paradise? I think they get a win over Shallow Water. I'm going with Edna over Llano. Do not check your DMs, Ashley Pickle. And in one of the games of the year, I like Columbus over Franklin. To 3A Division II we go. Gunner beats Holiday to win Region 2 for the umpteenth consecutive year. Lexington dethrones Tidehaven in Region 4. And is Dangerfield the hottest team in Texas? I think they beat Woodville. To 2A Division I we go. Battle of Unbeatens out west. I like Stanford over Post. I'm going with Ganado to take down Marlin, and Honeygrove punches its ticket to the state semifinal with a win over Joaquin. To 2A Division II we go. Groover keeps rolling. They take down a feisty Ropes team, and in another rematch, I like Munster to beat Collinsville for the second time this year. I'm going with Shiner over Junction in a really fun Region 4 final, and Bremond gets revenge for a non-district loss over Grapeland. And it's the state semifinals in Class 1A. In 1A Division I like Whiteface over Water Valley, and in 1A Division II, give me Jayton over Klondike, and Oglesby takes down Oakwood. And those are the picks. That's all 44 UIL Texas High School football playoff games this week. So now you can let me know, what am I wrong about? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com, where you can find complete coverage of the 2024 Texas High School football playoffs at texasfootball.com/playoffs. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the regional finals. We'll see you.